Actually, I will explain, so I will come to my structured speech, but first of all, I would like to say a few words. First of all, that I'm humbled to be in presence of such big names as MAN, Ford Pro, Mercedes trucks. I think for us as Kia, that's obviously a big step forward. I see my PR director, Suzanne, and also Guillaume, they were saying, okay, but people, do they know about Kia? So in fact, because here we have an audience that is mainly focused on LCV. So Kia is a young startup of 80 years old, selling about 3 million passenger cars. Also, to be fair, selling trucks, buses, vans in many regions. Europe has been a challenge, let's say, in terms of regulation. So the vehicles that maybe you know, like the Bongo and some others, the Peugeot, were sold about until 10 years ago. But still, there is a circulating park for these vehicles. And therefore, Kia is obviously most known for the EV technology, the 800-volt platform that is already available, but not so much for vans. And therefore, when we wanted to approach this new business, or this business of the vans, we needed to really take a new approach. And the approach we took was to be customer-centric. Sorry about this, I will go further. Customer-centric approach, when we say that, obviously, it seems like we say that what everybody says. But the point was, either we were focusing on the same platforms as we have today, the same segments. We think about the what we call the car-derived van, what we call the one-ton van, and so on. Or we were listening to customers, and we took the approach to meet with customers for the last 3 years, because the project was started in 2021, and really to meet with customers, to meet with partners like converters, pan-European converters and all, in order to really understand if the approach with a dedicated EV platform should be to stay as a status quo, let's say, in terms of segments, or to define maybe new ways of doing business. So we really tried to do this in a humble way, and I will come back to this with a little bit more information. So what is Kia PBV? PBV stands for Platform Beyond Vehicle. It means that in this business, we believe that there is the product, which is extremely important. We need to analyze use cases. We need to make sure that the customer can use his vehicle in the best way. But there is also something beyond that, which is the ecosystem, which is the dealer network, which is obviously the service that they can bring, and also the connectivity that will be more and more important, the data handling. So that's why we define PBV as Platform Beyond Vehicle. We introduced this business at the CES in January, because the vision that we have is not just for today, it's for the coming 12 to 15 years. It's not just focusing on one aspect of the business, but it's really thinking what the business will be and what the mobility will be in about 12 to 15 years. That's why it was important for us to project ourselves and to be present at a show where we could really vehiculate this message. Now, when it comes to Europe, we also need to be very practical. So we see a lot of changes in the smart mobility, in the sharing economy and the e-commerce. Again, probably discussing about things you have heard before, but since pandemic, but also before, the business was changing. There is also a certain responsibility from us in terms of ESG, in terms of social aspects. So also, when we want to have mobility impaired persons who need to move around the city, this is also where we need to be. We need to provide solutions also for these persons. We need to provide more mobility. We are used now to use a taxi, Uber, or this kind of businesses quite often, everywhere, and we need also to adapt to their own needs. The main focus was on 3 areas, which was hailing, logistics, and utilities. But honestly, and Mrs. Vogt also mentioned it, there are, I think that was the words saying 65% of the customers will change or are thinking of changing to EVs in the coming 5 years. What we saw is that also craftsmen, if you ask today this population, they also know exactly what's going on in the EVs. They know why they could switch or not switch today. They really have a clear understanding of what TCO means for them. Maybe they calculate it differently, but clearly they know what's going on. So that means that today it shouldn't be about focusing just on the small part of the business, last mile delivery, but it should be really go a bit beyond that, and making sure that with EVs we can answer today all the needs of the LCV market. We listen to our customers, big ones, small ones. There is a question, let's say, about the sustainability of the vehicles, also the approach in terms of conversions. How do we transform a vehicle? Do we need to adapt it from the beginning? Do we need to produce it from the factory directly in order to limit CO2 emissions also at the production, to have a better quality, to have less risks in producing the vehicle? So that was all the discussions we had, and therefore, once this scene has been set up, we decided to go for 3 phases. I was mentioning that we want to project ourselves in 10, 12, 15 years. So therefore, we have 3 different phases we are focusing on. The first phase is 2025. Next year, we'll launch PV5. This is the first vehicle that will be optimized for the major domains. It's a dedicated EV platform with all the advantages that it brings, and I will come back to this also. And this will be a vehicle that will still be in line with what we can find in the market today in terms of dimensions, in terms of it will be a bit bigger than its segment, but I would say globally speaking, you are able to use it as an ICE vehicle of this segment as of today. There will be already developments in the fleet management system, in app ecosystems, but it will be a vehicle that will still be quite down to earth. Coming to phase 2, 2027 and beyond, we will have AI-driven platforms, because we know we speak a lot about AI, but in that case that really makes sense because the amount of data that we get from these vehicles is enormous. The rerouting, all the optimization of the business during the day can really be addressed with AI optimization. So that will be the second step. And the third step will take us beyond 2033, where at that time we will speak about driving modules, actually moving some different cells around, being included in smart cities, being in interaction with robotics, with air mobility, and therefore to have a complete ecosystem that will interact with us and with the businesses. So a focus on the vehicle we will launch next year, which is the PV5. Therefore, the PV5 is, as I mentioned, a dedicated EV platform that will have, in terms of volume, some strong possibilities and strong specifications. There will be a software, what we call software to everything connectivity, because this is a software-driven vehicle. We will have some possibilities to in fact reduce the downtime, because we will have OTA capabilities and also predictive maintenance capabilities. And there will be obviously all the connectivity possibilities in terms of, for example, handling a fridge on the vehicle, or handling some taxi fares in the right way. So this is a small video. The vehicle will come with as a cargo high roof, which is unique, let's say, in this category, as a chassis cab, which is now unfortunately also unique in the category because it's not existing anymore, and also as a people mover. When we say people mover, there will be also a family van. I would say that's not necessarily the right audience for the ER. We see some other possibilities that we don't want to put in the market today, like for example this pickup, because there is not a real possibility for a two-seater vehicle in Europe at the moment, but we can provide this kind of vehicles. There is also this idea that we should be very flexible and answer to all the needs. So in fact, there is the possibility to have L1H1, L2H1, L2H2 to go beyond, let's say, 5 cubic meters in this kind of vehicles. This is here, what we see is a future technology that was presented, which is dynamic hybrid, which will come in production in order to have a way to build a vehicle with weldless possibilities, with panels that won't require painting. So therefore, a way to have a sustainable production. So this is, we see the inside here of the people mover version, and we see that there will be a strong focus on sustainable material. There is already a strong partnership with Ocean Cleanup to recover some plastic from the oceans. We are already including this plastic inside our vehicles, and we want to continue and probably also discuss maybe with our suppliers or our converters to also include that in their own process. Phase 2, as mentioned, we will go a bit beyond, let's say, an existing platform. We will go into optimizing the business and also probably focusing more on lifestyle users, for example, also motorhomes, and to make sure, for example, we have also 9-seaters, so we ensure a clean mobility at all time. This will be embodied by the PV7, which is already in the plans, which is already being discussed with our partners in order to make sure that we have the right platform. Mentioned the transit custom, we would be from this dimension and above. And this is coming already in 2027. And phase 3, as mentioned, we will be on a totally different business probably, where the vehicles will be with swappable bodies, with solutions that will interact with, again, air mobility. We have robotics also inside our group, and this needs to get together. So KPV, we just don't want to build for tomorrow, but we want to build for the day after, and really beyond that. We are here to stay. We are here to build something together with our customers and our partners, and we want to make sure that we keep this customer approach, solving the customer pain points, and then integrate with our environment. In order for us to show that we are serious, there is a factory that is being built. We are about 60% completion, so there is no turning back, of course, from this point of view. It's in Korea. It will include also some capabilities of conversion and modularity, and we will go from 150,000 units in 2025 to gradually and globally to 300,000 units in 2030. Biggest part of the business is Europe, because this is where the van business is the most mature, and therefore most of the capacity will be taken by Europe. We certainly hope so. We are building some strong collaborations today with the partners, the converters that you know. When I say partners, that can be also suppliers for FMS, the converters, the pan-European converters, the local converters. Obviously, to do this, we need to have a certain credibility, so we need to provide them also with a certain level of information. That's what we do today. We're in continuous discussion, and I mentioned PV7 in 2027. We obviously already met them in order to develop already some solutions and to modify the vehicle, because, again, the vehicle has to work for everybody, and therefore we need today to modify it or to integrate the solutions of our partners inside our vehicle. So we still have time for that, but we need to do it now. One important point, and here it's coming back down to earth, is that in terms of our business in Europe, we need to make sure that we address the dealer network, that we address the spare parts availability, that we address also the maintenance. And predictive maintenance will be a big part of what the platform can do. That's extremely important. But at the same time, really, today, still the contact we can have with with our customers through our dealer network is important. So no agency model for Kia. This is not something that we envision, and clearly that wouldn't work in our way, in our view, with our LCV customers. And therefore, we want to focus also on this point. So we are preparing ourselves by 2025 to be ready in our network, dedicated network for PBV, in order to address our customer needs. Kia Connect is existing today, but Kia Connect will evolve quite strongly in the future for PBV, because the fact that we will integrate our conversions, again, fridge, can be wheelchair accessible vehicles, can be taxi. There are a lot of applications that need to be integrated in the vehicle. So we want to integrate as much as we can. A fleet management system, also a performing one. There is one being developed in Korea actually, but we will probably rely for Europe on the existing ones that are very strong in their business. But still, we are quite flexible. And we see a lot of apps that can be used in the vehicle. So there will be their own app ecosystem inside the vehicle in order to address, the customer needs. And therefore, Kia Connect will be also a way to build around the user a full experience and a customized experience. So that's what also we are focusing on. There will be more information on the booth, let's say, at the Hanover, so I won't say much more, but that's an important part of our PBV. Dimension of the market we see is 400,000 units in this segment by 2030, so very close. We believe, well, we hope to take a good part of that, but clearly there is a movement to go to EV, especially in this segment and especially in the LCV. We talk a lot today about the bumpy road of EVs, especially now, but this is for passenger cars. For LCVs, there is an absolute need to go for EVs, being to enter city centers, being for sustainability targets. Every company has sustainability targets, and therefore there is no turning back. The market will continue to move. We see it still continuing to move year to date in the first 3 months, and electrify much quicker than expected. So we believe that this target, let's say, of 400,000 EVs as a market and us inside being strongly present is reasonable. So we will be present for the first time in Hanover. We are very happy about that. We are preparing ourselves in order to show something interesting. Now I saw the MAN booth, and now we need to level up and to fight a little bit to get the best experience. But I mean, we want to try to show something that is ours, in the sense that maybe that is a bit outside of what we do. It won't be a reproduction of CES for sure, because we are here as part of the launch. I mean, launch is next year, so it's tomorrow, and therefore we want to show something that our customers can say, okay, yes, we understand that Kia is in the right process, that PBV is an alternative, that PBV also is a complement to what is existing in the market today, and that therefore they will switch to us, not because we are EVs, but because we have the right answer in terms of TCO versus the ICE, because that was the last question, I think, to Mrs. Vogt. We believe that we can be competitive versus ICE with our EV. This is the ultimate goal. This is what we are preparing for next year, and we hope to get there. So thank you very much for listening to me, and looking forward to see you in a few months.
Thank you. As head of marketing communication, I just know that our key visual also works quite well with a black and decent background. Thank you for that. So, merci bien, Pierre-Martin. Are there any questions from the audience? Yes, Charlotte, you will get a mic. Tis on the way.
Yeah, Pierre-Martin. Just a question in relation to your dealer network. And how will they deal with the situation of trade-ins because of the lack of experience in general of LCV in their business? How do you think you will overcome this initial attraction of new customers with trade-in of vehicles and valuations, residuals, and following the sale of that as well?
So first of all, the Kia dealers will be selected. We will have actual Kia dealers. We will have also Kia dealers who have some groups and that have experience, let's say, in the LCV, clearly. But also we are building an extensive training on this part, because you're absolutely right. It's extremely important to understand what the training will be, especially if we have customers coming back with EVs. What we see is that anyway, the trend, first of all, we are launching next year. So probably the market will be a bit more stable. There will be a bit more understanding. But training is extremely important. We are discussing with the big names. We know them like CAP or Autovista, and just to understand what should be a reasonable strategy in order to trade in. And in order, in fact, to have a good business around that. So that's what we're working on already. We met all of these RV trendsetters, and we will train extensively our dealers to be able to do the trading. It's clear that goes together with a dedicated sales force who needs to be trained also. So when we speak dedicated dealer network, it's dedicated sales force also who will know probably better how to trade in the vehicles.
Thank you. There's a second question from our colleague from India.
Hello, my name is Rajesh from Motor India magazine. Kia's sales is booming in the Indian cars and SUV market. Do you plan to bring these solutions, the platform beyond vehicles, even to the Indian market?
So yes, we think of bringing it almost everywhere. Then the solutions will be adapted to each region. But clearly, the electrification is everywhere. Middle East and Africa, in India, in China, obviously. But I would say there is no region where we should think that the electrification is not coming. Especially if we want to make sure that our EVs are competitive with the ICE, then that means that we can bring them everywhere. And India is part of that. I know that, yes, I know that there is a plan. I don't know exactly when it will come, because, okay, we still have a 1 year and a half, but we think about getting everywhere in the globe, yes.